Hello and welcome to Paints and Glitter. If you're rewatching this as per usual, I'm just going to advise that you skip through the intro of this video. And I'm going to make sure the camera is showing everything correctly here before I begin. Thank you for the thumbs up. And bear with me as I try to get everything situated here to make sure you can see me correctly. I think that's going to be okay. And as I've stated in other videos, I'm unable to see the chat immediately here. So I'm going to act as if I'm just trying to find my channel online here. So bear with me a moment because it doesn't show me the chat and I don't know why. But if you can see the video okay, please let me know. Just say hello quickly and I'll see if it shows up on my other computer here. Because let's see here. If not, I have to try to use a different browser. So bear with me, guys. I'm going to be crafting with the Blooming Bouquet from Tonic Studios, which just returned to the UK store. And yeah, there's no chat to be had. I don't know why YouTube is doing this. The last time I was able to see it, but in any case, I'm just going to keep on crafting anyway. So this is a 36-piece die set. If you've not yet seen it, which I highly doubt, this was released back in December. However, it was brought over to Create and Craft, which means it was kind of pulled out of the UK store and then made available yet again today. So the links are, by the way, in the description bar of this video. So if you click the little word that says more in the description bar right under Blooming Bouquet Live, you'll be able to see all of the links for this set and then the stamps that were sold along with this. And by the way, it'll come in a nice wallet for you. They also bundled this, but this is going to be linked separately with this adorable set here, just so you know. Because if you get the bouquet, let me just move this a moment. If you get the bouquet, you may be interested in also getting the little tags that you can add to it. So this is the tag and stamp set that was used to kind of couple up with it. But of course you don't have to get them. This is called the With Love tag stamp set. And I think this was called the Mother's Day. Let me check here really quickly. This was called the Mother's Day and Valentine Day tag die set. So of course you can see all of the little layering tags, and then this has a bunch of little sentiments as well. And then the same here. So I'm just going to show that really quickly so you get to see what that looks like. So perfect for gift giving, especially, you know, for Mother's Day. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to show you all of the dies that came with this set. It's quite a bit. Now, what's really fun about it is that you, of course, get a ton of flower dies. And that's what I've done here is I put all the flower dies on one side of this magnet. So I'm going to describe these really quickly. The ones here, what I've done is I took my low tack tape and I just taped them together on the back just because I was running them just like that through my die cutting machine because it's a solid line there. I figured that way I can make the most out of my paper. There are leaves. Turns out there are 3 leaves. And then the rest are all these different types of flowers that you can either use together or separately, however you'd like. Then on the other side is the foundation of what will be the bouquet box. And then there's a hinge, and there are pieces that you can use separately or together with this. And also there is a bow and two sentiments. One says keep blooming, the other one says hello beautiful, and it has a little tag to go along with it. So this here has a solid piece that's going to go on the side of the box, and then it has an intricate piece. Today I won't be using that intricate piece because what I decided to do was to instead use the specialty papers that I wanted to decorate this box with. So that's always another option. And I'm just going to set this aside a moment here. And I see that there are, let's see here, 4 people here, I think it is. So I apologize that, you know, I don't know what's going on with the YouTube situation there, but I do thank you for your patience. I always say that. My situation here with electronics, I don't know why it is that it's doing that. Instead of showing me the chat for my videos, it shows me ads, and I have no idea why that is. But I'm going to start layering these pieces here. And this is what I meant about the solid pieces that will layer on the sides of this box. They're going to match perfectly with that really beautiful edge there. And if you happen to catch Jody's video on Create and Craft, then you would have seen all of the beautiful samples that were made, including a couple of cards. Probably more than a couple actually. So you can definitely use this for card making if box making is not for you. So you're never obligated, of course, to use the die set for the project, you know, for which it's designed, because then the interpretation of, you know, the creativity that goes along with it is up to you. So I'm going to adhere these layers. And I tried to prep as much as possible, but adhering the layers was not something I was able to do today because I had to cut out quite a few flowers because I wasn't quite sure how many flowers I was going to need. So I'm just going to very quickly layer these. And if you're here, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I did send out an invitation via Instagram and YouTube, or I'm sorry, Instagram and Facebook, but I realized that the time of day is going to be different for everyone, you know, as to whether or not they can join in on a live. So I'm just always grateful for anyone who does join in. And the previous live that I did, I'm trying to think, this month was regarding the Buzzy the Buzzy Bee box. I think that's what it's called now. I'm trying to remember the name of it. But that's that was a live crafty video. If you haven't seen it, then of course I invite you to watch it, or you can watch the kind of shorter version. It doesn't show how to make the box, but it shows how I made a little frame to go along with one of them. And I also have a series that I began this month making flowers. So that excuse my dry throat. That's going to be once I have more than one video to go along with that, that's going to have a playlist of its own. At the moment it is under Tonic Studios because I made the no it's not, I take that back, sorry guys. it's on its own. So but there is going to be a playlist for the floral series, and you can easily find those videos on this channel. And I promise you, I did not change any settings on my channel that would prohibit me from seeing the chat. It's just a very strange occurrence. And this paper here, by the way, because I know someone's going to want to know, this is specialty cardstock from Tonic Studios. I did try to find it, but it's no longer available. However, you want to keep your eye out for the cardstock on Tonic Studios. If you're not aware, that's something you want to take a peek at now and then to see if the stock has changed. You know, did they get something new in? I highly recommend the papers. They're top notch. The quality and the colors are just absolutely beautiful. This one happens to be a floral pattern, and I'm going to show a close-up in a moment. It has this really beautiful finish to it. It's very, very classy, and the color is just gorgeous. But those are flowers, and then it almost looks like lace. So I happen to have this in a folder and I don't remember if it was from a kit or not, but yeah, I just decided to use that. And then this is the little bow that comes with this set, and I'm just going to quickly shape it. And I'm thinking that I can move this a little bit this way. I didn't want this to be too crooked. But in any case, there's this little layer, and then the scallop background here. It's so very pretty. And I just used a white base, as you can tell. And I'm just going to adhere these, and then I'll set them aside as I show you all of the other layers. I guess I need to adhere the center there. If you're new to this channel and you just happen to pop in, I invite you to subscribe, and that way you can watch more tutorials, whether it be using Tonic Studios product, of course, or others that I happen to have. You may have noticed on the corner there, I do have some flower stamens that I recently picked up. And I thought that maybe I would use them in this video, but I'm not quite sure. Now I'm going to use a hot glue gun in this as well, because if it makes life easier in a live video, then absolutely I will use it. Okay, so that layered quite easily there. And of course here, you can, oopsie, I was trying to pull this away and pull the, the entire thing off. Here you can use whatever you like. You can use the dye that's included to do the center of that. Or you can do cording, ribbon, whatever you like. In fact, I might use some cording. So I'm going to set those aside for a moment. Now there are these other pieces here that cut like so. For this project, you're going to need a total of 6. And this is going to create the little dome portion of this box onto which you'll apply your flowers. So, bear with me. Oh goodness. I'm going to do this portion, and then we'll do that center portion. But for this, you're also going to need some pieces that look like this. And then there's a hexagon involved. And I do have my little instructions there on the side. So if I need them, I can go ahead and refer to them. Now I went ahead and applied double-sided adhesive here just to help myself out initially. But this does have the little tabs on the side that are going to join together, and then there's a little tab at the bottom here. And just have a little bit more paper there than I needed. And on there you'll place also adhesive. So I'm just going to add a little piece there because I guess that one didn't have some. And according to this, you're going to use one of the hexagons and start creating your base with it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. It says here, okay, so I should have a small hexagon for this, and I'm going to show you what it's referring to. So on your set of dies here, so you have this large one here, And that's the one that you're going to use to create the top of your box. It cuts out like this, and then you use a second hexagon, which is this one, to cut out the little aperture there. There's also a smaller one that will do the same thing, and that'll give you an aperture that looks like this. Again, that's for the top of the box. Then you have the little hexagons that fall out of the center there. There's a larger one, and then there's a smaller one. Okay, so let's work with that smaller one according to the directions. Okay. So I just have to remove the double-sided tape there, that little cover. And then this is going to go right on here. Now you can do it either way. I don't think that there's a wrong way to do this, because you can double this up. So if you want to place all of those little pieces actually on the back of this, I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. But I like to line it up and make sure it's even edge to edge. And then go with the second one. So I'm just going to fold that one. And I'm going to place this one right next to it. Okay, it's going to be just like that. And now this little edge is going to make more sense, because it's going to be very kind of self-explanatory that they go together. And I've already placed that adhesive there, but you want to carefully join them at the bottom first. So I like to always double up the adhesive there if I can. Join those pieces together. Then join the little centerpiece there. And lastly, that taller piece. I'm going to start down here. And then add the adhesive there and join that top portion. It's going to take a moment for this to dry completely. However, using a little bit of that tape kind of helps, at least to get the placement down initially. So we will repeat this 2 more times. Just going to fold here, get this kind of prepped up. And of course you can use a bone folder to help you out, or a paper creaser, however you want to refer to that. There's that one. And if you want to use pretty papers on the inside of this, of course you can do that as well. It's going to really depend on how you intend to use this. So there's that one, and 2 more. May as well get this prepped now. I hope you guys are having a fabulous Thursday. There's going to be another video coming tomorrow, and it's going to be really wonderful for beginners, actually. So if you're new to card making, then you may want to take a peek at that video, because it is a series regarding how you can make 4 different types of cards with only 1 die. And what I've tried to do is include, whether it be different techniques or different materials you may have on hand that you can use to just change up the look of the die, of course. So we'll go back to this again. And once you get comfortable with this, it goes a little bit faster too. I like to also you know, kind of aim the adhesive at the base there, then fold that over. I always like to double check on the other side, make sure my placement's correct. And it's gonna become a little bit top heavy, just so you know. So if you don't have this set and you're planning on getting it today, that's just a little something to bear in mind, because you're going to want to double up that paper at the bottom that this little hexagon I'm working with. And you may want to double it up with 300 GSM card. So that way the recipient doesn't have the entire thing topple over. It's just something to bear in mind. But I think it'll sit nicely on a table for sure. So now here, obviously it's got to go with that previous one. Just going to remove this liner. And I am using the adhesive. The dry adhesive is only about 1/4 inch wide. Or I believe that's, I think it's 3mm tape if I'm not mistaken. Maybe smaller actually, it might just be 2. Do this one. I do see that there are more people here now. So just to let you know, for those of you who may have just joined, I cannot see the chat on the video. For some reason, YouTube is not allowing me to see the chat on my videos, and I do apologize because it's very hit or miss, and I'm not sure if it's a YouTube thing. I did ask in a previous live if anyone knew anything about it, but no one left me any comments. So I've not changed the way that I do the videos. I always select to allow chats, because the whole point of it is to, you know, have that interaction aside from sharing with you what I'm making. So it's not by choice, is what I mean to say. But if you need to know anything about this, you can always email me or send me a message via Instagram or leave me a comment on Facebook. I check all 3 of those pages just in case. And I'm always happy to respond. Now you may notice I kind of switch back and forth as to how I hold this. That's because I'm left-handed, and sometimes it's easier to apply pressure to the paper using my dominant hand, but I'll switch it up every now and then. Okay. Now I like to join the little curved part there at the top first, and then kind of walk my way down, applying pressure there on that tab. And if you want to, in fact, you can try to use the bone creaser or paper creaser. However, you want to be careful because of the fact that this will not be laying flat. So if that's something that's your go-to, just bear that in mind. And we've got 2 more and we're done with the base. Almost. You get to see how easy these projects do come together. They're not complicated. They just are something that you want to take your time with, because if you do, it'll show. The end product will show that you took care. Okay, so here I'm going to actually hold this, whoops, with my left hand and try to guide this with my right hand just to make sure that that is in there nice and taut. Okay. Now I was working on something else on my table, so it's not entirely 100% clean, but that's okay because I'm going to be doubling up that paper anyway. But when you're working with white paper, that is one of the little nuances. So you have to try to keep it as clean as possible. All right, so now I'm going to just keep doing the same thing, same little steps, making sure that these match up. Okay. And when there's more than one paper there, it's going to have a tendency to pull away. But if you take your time, it'll work out just fine. Do the center portion there. And I'm going to exit my video and try to go back in again. This is something I did before to try to see if it'll allow me to see the chat. Oopsie. Didn't mean to do that. Hold that again right at the top and then walk my way down with my hands. And I'll do that one last time. Okay, so this one's going to require folding that paper maybe all the way out just to be able to tack that bottom portion. Okay. And then I'm going to do the last piece as well, because if not, my hand won't be able to reach down in there. So I'm going to do this piece now. Try to hold that together. Next will be the center portion. Tack one side. Tack the other side. And I'm just applying pressure underneath. But it does take a moment to create some tack on there. Okay, then the last little bit here, And now I can do it as I was doing it before. Just holding on to that top part and then walking my way down. And the last little portion here. Try to apply some adhesive all the way down to that. Okay. Okay, so here is the foundation all ready to go. And I don't think that that was difficult to put together. It's just, again, it's something you want to, you know, just be patient with because you're working with 3 different angles. So I am going to double mine up now. I'm just going to use the same color of paper here. And normally, and I see that there are some people chatting, bear with me because I'm trying to get in here, believe it or not. I'm trying to see the chat. And I think, let me see if I can. Let's see. I'm trying to enter as if I were not a user of YouTube. So that way I can try to enter the channel here. And it's kind of funny how this all works. But yeah, no matter how many times I go out and back in again, it won't let me see anything. Oh, what torturous events. Anyway, not the crafting, just the YouTube thing. Okay, so if I were not doing this on a live video, just to let you know, I would be cutting this 2 more times out of 300 GSM card, placing it there, and then putting that really pretty paper on top. And quite honestly, if I was going to gift it or, you know, making this for a craft fair or anything like that, I would also take advantage of that to put my information, you know, whether it be the custom stamp or, you know, if you're doing it for a swap or anything like that, you can always put your little information down at the bottom there because it's a bit, you know, inconspicuous, and I think it's so lovely. I love the design up here on that edge. I think it's so very pretty. So let's move on to the other portion of this. I'm going to do this dome portion first, and I'm going to take a quick peek here because I did read the instructions, but I don't think it hurts to take one more look. In fact, I'm going to put them up here. Okay, and here what I'm going to do is take my paper creaser and just do that. That's as simple as that is. Now obviously you see that there are tabs there. Those tabs need to adhere to something, and that's what we're going to do. So it says just a slight curve. You'll do this 6 times. Okay, so this is supposed to adhere to one of the larger hexagons, and I just happened to have some paper that was, you know, this little polka dot paper. It's very old. I had this in my stash and I thought it was cute. It kind of matches that, and I don't know, I just thought it would be cute to do a blue and white. So this can adhere on the bottom of this larger hexagon. Mind you, it's going to fit in here, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's go ahead and do that all the way around. And I'm doing this on the underside of this paper. Okay. And because I'm going to be doing that, quite honestly, it's much easier for me to just do this and adhere them all along the edge. Okay. I am going to fold them first. And here, if you want to place double-sided tape on the smooth edge, it'll help you, you know, adhere these a little bit faster. And in fact, I should have folded these first. I'm going to do that real quick, and we'll do all the rest of them. Okay. I'm going to add this one next, making sure to line up that little edge. I'll repeat that. And if you're just joining me, this is available. The links are in the description bar of the video. It's now back in stock in the waiting this set to come back. Sadly, it did sell out in the US. So when I went to grab the link for you guys this morning, it was gone. I was so surprised. I really thought that it was going to still be available, but this is going to be a quite popular set, I'm thinking, for Easter and Mother's Day, so I should not be surprised whatsoever. Now, one pointer is, and this has been asked before, so I'm just going to repeat it, that if you see a set that you really love on the Tonic Studios website, and below it, it says sold out, but it says notify me, then by all means click on that notify me button, because it lets the store know that there are still people interested in that set. And there's also a Tonic feedback group on Facebook, and it is labeled as such. It's a feedback group. And by all means, you are all welcome to leave feedback on that page. It doesn't matter if you make a lot of noise and, you know, repeat yourself. That's what that page is there for. So please don't shy away from it. Not everyone is able to go to Facebook every day and check up on notices or anything like that. So don't think that Tonic Studios assumes that you know, or are privy to all of the news. That's not the case. And they're quite a friendly company, so it's okay if you ask more than once. If you're new to crafting and you're asking a question that's been asked before, it's okay. Don't shy away from that. Here, I'm now going to be able to create this little dome by just adhering the edges, just like I did for that base. Just taking one little tab at a time, obviously working from the bottom up, because that's going to give you that nice finished edge. And of course, if it isn't 100% perfect, that's okay. This is paper crafting, not, rocket science. We're not engineering. We're not launching this into space. So hello, Tanya. Hello, Crafty Ladybug. And I'm looking up. I'm kind of bending my neck here. Hello, Maria. And I'm so sorry. I'm literally having to look up in here to see the chat. So I'm glad I was at least able to say hi to some of you guys. I need tech support on my YouTube channel. I don't know what's happening, but it won't let me see. It says here, yay, you can see. Yeah, I can see if I flip myself upside down. I guess I just need to do some gymnastics so I can do better videos. Maybe I can lay on my back and hold the paper up in the sky. What do you guys think of that? Although I think some of you wouldn't be surprised if I tried something like that. But yeah, no, I just wanted to put that out there, There's radio silence is always far more dangerous than than asking. You don't need to be in the dark to, to anything. And the other thing is that there are certain times of year, of the year, of a year, however you say that. There are certain times in which companies are busier there's a lot going on behind the scenes and things like that. So that can impact, you know, how quickly news gets shared on social media as well, okay? So that's why I say it's okay, you know, for you to ask more than once. It's okay for you to reach out and you know, ask questions. That's not a problem. All right, so if you see this, oh, I'm going a little bit too fast. I had to make sure that one little tab adhered perfectly there before I move on. And the other thing is, if you happen to be using Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive, it dries clear. So if in this portion you find that maybe you weren't as neat as you wanted to be, don't stress the small stuff, because you're also going to be covering this with flowers. So that's not a problem. So here I'm just going to make sure I tuck my fingers underneath, work my way up. Now it does say adhere your hinge die cut over the existing glue tabs as shown. So there is a hinge. There's a hinge that I'm supposed to add somewhere. I'll find it. I'm a very visual person, so sometimes I just need to see the picture before I can understand it. Oopsie. Gotta make sure I don't move the paper too much. Because again, as I said before, when there's more than one paper attached and you're doing a 3D construction, it's going to have a tendency to pull away. So that's why in the beginning, when you're gluing, all is well, and you feel like you're getting into a flow, and then toward the end of it, you may find that, why am I having to hold this paper a little bit longer? Why did I have to slow down? It's because of that. It's because it has that tendency to pull away. Okay, last little tab. All right. So if you're the creative type, you may be seeing a different use for this die already. Especially, let's pretend there's two of these, one on the other side. You can make a different type of project. So always, always take a peek at your dies and see what more can you make other than the intended project. It's a lot of fun to do that. And I'm hoping that this little guy cooperates here, because, yep, it will. All right, so that started pulling away there. I'm gonna reinforce that really quickly, and then I'll move on to finishing this little dome. I think it's because I'm pointing it up. Yep, that's exactly what it was. All right, so I'm gonna hold on to this. This is gonna be the trickier part, because trying to get that little shape there, it's going to require that I stick my hand all the way in there and really be careful to tack those bottom pieces first and then move on to the top. And I'm sorry if I was out of frame there. Okay. And I would not recommend hot glue for this, because it's too small of a space. I'm just going to hold that for a moment. Also, this, what's today's date? Today's the 18th. Lord have mercy. Today's the last day that you can get the Apothecary box dies, the kit. And there's also, right now, I shared on my Instagram yesterday, there's a huge sale on past kits, some of them as low as $19.99. Guys, I can't believe it. If you guys remember the kit, A Lifetime of Adventure, which was the one that had the blue papers and it was very nautical. Oh, so gorgeous. It created a mini album or kind of like a traveler's notebook type little mini album. That is on sale, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's one of the kits in the US that's I think 19.99. I couldn't believe it. Also, the one that was released back in July, that was the Christmas one with the little miniature gingerbread men. If you're into the whole gingerbread theme, that is such a cute kit. Um, and it came with the little gingerbread houses. That that's all part of one kit. And of course, if you've not ventured into the whole Tonic Studios kits, they come with Nuvo product, they come with paper, they come with their own little wallet and everything to house your dies and all that good stuff. Um, they come with exclusive stamps as well as the dies, of course. And they're just a lot of fun. So, um, and at that price point, I think, actually, I think it might have been less. I don't know. I have that linked on Instagram, but of course, you know, you could use any one of my links to get to that, to the UK or the US store, and just take a peek. Maybe there's something in one of those kits that you haven't tried yet, and you're curious as to how it works. And at that price point, why not, right? All right, so I'm trying to reach in here, making use of my pinky now, and let's see here. I'm gonna keep adding as much adhesive as I need here. And now when you use different types of paper, that's another thing. The adhesive might not grab immediately. So just give yourself a moment, because there is, you know, temperature will impact it and everything. But once you got it, you got it. All right, so I'm going to set this down for a moment. I am tempted to just hot glue this thing. But I'm going to resist. All right, I'm just gonna try to make sure it tacks right there. Okay. All right, I'm setting this aside for just a moment. Oh shoot, I missed that comment. I'm so sorry. I know someone left a comment now and I just missed it, so I apologize for that. This die set, as I mentioned, comes with a bunch of flowers. I went ahead and I wanted to mention this. I went ahead and used, let's see, where's the other one? Right here. Two different types of paper. Now, mind you, I had mentioned that the blue was the specialty card that's no longer available. Tonic Studios, I think it's the UK site right now, should have quite a bit of paper. The US site has some bundles available that are really good. But I did use some ice rink paper, and this is another specialty card that has a really gorgeous texture to it. And then I used buttermilk yellow. It happens to be my favorite yellow from Tonic. So that's what I used to cut out a lot of the flowers. The other ones, I just went ahead and cut out, and you can see, I just cut out a bunch. I cut out using different pinks. Okay. This is the pink glitter card from Tonic. So look how pretty that is. So I did use that. Here's the ice rink paper. Let me show you that up close. You get to see it does have some texture to it that's really cool. Hopefully, I don't know if it's showing well in this camera or not, but I promise you it's absolutely fabulous. And then this pink cardstock was just part of a paper pack that I had laying about, so I'm not quite sure if I'm even going to use that deep pink. I figured I should just cut a bunch of these and then just have fun, because let's remember that this is meant to be fun. Sometimes, you know, got to be reminded of that, right? So I'm just going to set those aside a moment. Now, here, if you're going to make this into the type of box that is alluded to in the, you know, the set, then you would end up creating the little hinge here. This would go in here, and then essentially you're creating, you know, a little opening in there. So that's really up to you. You can simply have it so that it's solid like this. If that's what you want to do, it's your, you know, craft, so you do it whichever way you like. But because I cut these out, let's just go ahead and go in that direction so we get to see what that looks like, because I've not made this yet. So here's the little hinge, and this is going to go on the underside of this larger, or I'm sorry, this skinny little hexagon piece here. And I think I was supposed to cut away the edges, so bear with me 1 second here. Yep, I was. I put tape on it. I was supposed to cut away those little edges, but I was on a roll. So you don't need these little edges, because this is going to help you create your little opening, your little box. So now, of course, if you're not comfortable with scissors, just use your paper cutter and then just line up these little edges. I'm just following the score line left behind by the actual die. So there's that. Okay. Now this little hinge is going to adhere under here, right? And the fold line faces the edge of your little piece. And it's a skinny mini, so not a lot of surface area there, but it'll do. And just let that dry. Okay. And then the other edge is going to adhere to the underside of this little hexagon, so you get a nice clean finish there, okay? Place my adhesive there. If I do too much, I'm just wipe away what I don't need. And I'm going to place that hexagon right on top, and then put pressure on that edge so that it touches that hinge. Okay, so there's my little hinge attached right there. Now this portion is going to adhere, just the white hexagon portion will adhere onto this piece here. Okay, and I'm actually going to cut away a tiny little bit here, because I think I could afford to cut away a tiny bit more there. Again, I just eyeballed it according to the little score lines. All right. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fold these down, because in this case, this is going to adhere to that bouquet, and I want to be able to prep this before I stick that little dome on top. Okay, now I'm going to apply adhesive here only on this edge. I think I just pulled it away too hard. Sorry. Doing that again. I pulled on it and it wasn't 100% dry yet. So this is live crafting, guys. Apply pressure again. I'm going to make sure this time I'm patient enough to wait until that forms a little bit of a bond there, especially if it's something that's going to cause movement. All right, come on now. There we go. I'm going to try not to move it too fast. All right, so I'm peeking up at my phone to see if I can look if anyone's chatting. I don't see anything. So I'm just applying a little bit of pressure there. I want this to stick. And of course, you may want to double up this skinny little hexagon if you want to. Another thing you can do is use another hexagon here to finish this off. And that's also going to help that hinge stick a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that so that doesn't pop off again. Just going to put this here. And you're going to have some leftover hexagons because of the fact that you cut those, you know, for instance, this one out. So the one that's left over, you can go ahead and use here. And if you're going to add a little hidden message maybe to the recipient, this would be a really cute place to add that. You can stamp something here. Okay. It's going to help me out there so that that way this doesn't come out again. Okay, now we're in business. I'm going to apply my adhesive here. And this is going to go all the way around. I'm going to guide myself with this hexagon, not that dome. And then I'm just going to kind of walk this all the way around. Making sure that those little points match all the way around. And once I have it in place, now I can go ahead and apply pressure, making sure that this is nice and neat. Okay. All right, so this is ready to go. And this is going to go in here, as I had mentioned before. So you can pick an edge. And then that edge is going to be the first one that you would adhere onto this base. And then you just work your way around. Okay. So I'm going to apply my adhesive here. I'm going to take advantage of that opening and then kind of eyeball where it is that all these other little tabs are going to go. I'm going to fold mine down, make it a little bit easier here. All right. Okay. And then I'm just going to apply pressure there. Once I feel comfortable with where it is. And then I'm just going to start peeling the other ones away, the little backing here. And I'm not going to be too overzealous in adding the wet adhesive just yet, because I first want to match these pieces to the base. Now, if you're a fan of red line tape and you like a really nice strong bond, I would still add the wet adhesive, just to give yourself a little bit of a window of opportunity to move the paper where you need it, which is what I'm doing. I'm kind of just pulling it away and then moving it a little bit. And then I'm going to help myself to that needle tip, and I'll just kind of shimmy it in between the papers there, if you will. But I do have one side here that I want to kind of push down. I'm kind of pushing it down a little bit. Don't want it too close to the top edge. And I have one more little edge here. I'm going to take my little tweezers and take that lining off. I might need my pokey tool. Bear with me, guys. Where's my pokey tool? I know it's around here. Here it is. I'm going to use this. Okay. There we are. Okay. So in the end, that might be sufficient, but for now, this is how I'm going to do it. If I find that I need a little bit more help, then I'll go ahead and go back with that. But here's what we have. We have our little lid, and then you have all that amount of room to fill in with a gift if this is what you're going to be using it for. You can also, if you want to, you can add a little magnet on both sides, one here, one here. If that's how you like to craft. You can also do a little Velcro dot if that's something that you like. And let's see here. I'm going to help myself to some magnets. Now, ordinarily, I would cover up that magnet. Okay. But I'm just going to add one right here for now. And I'm going to aim at this with some hot glue. Place my little magnet there. Then I'm going to match it up and put a little drop of hot glue on the second one, and then just close this up. And then I have my little magnet closure, but I don't want to pull on it, not just yet. Okay, now let's get into these little flowers. I'm gonna still have my little bow. I wanted to mention these, and then I also wanted to mention the roses that you can cut using this set. There are a few different types here. These are meant to be centers of flowers, but you can use them individually. It's really up to you. So I did use mirror card for mine. So you can tell there's this style here, there's this style, and then there's this one that looks a little bit more like the petals of a daisy. For those, you can use a quilling tool. It'll make it a whole lot easier. Gonna grab mine. I happen to have mine from ages ago, and the quilling tool, if you're not familiar with it, just has a little slit there. What you do is you grab your paper on the solid edge, you fit it right in the little tiny opening that's there, just like that. You should be able to grab it, and then if you'd like to, you can apply a bead of adhesive here. It's up to you. And then start rolling your paper. Now, depending on how you're making the flower, you can roll the paper away from you or toward you. It's whichever you prefer. I don't really think there's a wrong way to go about it. And then once you have that rolled, you can remove it from the tool. So I'm going to add a little more adhesive there because that's mirror card. Okay, and I'm just going to roll that closed. And that gives you a little center of a flower or a flower, depending on what you're making, that you can then fluff and open it up. Now I wanted to show you this. If you have the mirror card facing away from you, you're going to get one result. And if you have the mirror card facing toward you, you'll get another one. So for instance, in this instance, on the center or the inside of the flower is actually the back of the paper. So you may want to bear that in mind in case you're doing double-sided paper or shiny paper like in this case. So let's do that again, only this time I'm going to let the shiny paper be on the inside. So I'm going to feed it into my tool again. Okay. Place my little bead of adhesive. Roll that again. So again, depending on how you're using this, you'll determine which is going to work better for you. I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to apply a little drop there. And I am using hot glue because if not, we'd be here till tomorrow. And I have patience for these types of things, but you know, not everyone likes to take their time. So I'm now going to separate these little petals, and you're going to see, of course, immediately the difference. Now I have a really nice and shiny center. But again, depending on what you're going for, you may want one or the other. So in this case, you can see the center, and then in this case, you see the outside has the gold, okay? So you pick whichever way you want to go with that. I'm going to go ahead and roll these, and then I'll show you the rose. And then I'm also going to show you the other flowers, of course, that came with this set. And then this mirror card, I knew that was going to happen. It might separate if you put the tool too close to the edge, just so you know. I had a feeling that might happen, but I'm just going to work with it because I want to make sure that I have some shiny paper involved in this. And I can always cut away if I didn't use the tool properly, which again, this is what you get in a live video. If you use the tool improperly, or if the paper separates, you may have to, you know, cut a little piece off or anything like that. But as I always say in these crafty videos, just don't hit the panic button immediately if things don't go the way you thought they would, because there's always a fix. I'm just going to go ahead and roll that over. And then separate the petals. And this one's much smaller, but in case you hadn't seen these dies or you don't yet have them, then I think it's important to show what all comes with it. So this one's really tiny. It's so cute though. This one's really, really small. All right. Whereas the other one's got the longer petals. And I think they're pretty cool. I love the variety, of course. And as you can tell, you do not need a whole lot of glue either. I'm going to separate that. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to do the last little style here, and that's this one. But the same rule applies. Just bear in mind that the papers that are shiny have that coating on them that you have to be careful with because they might separate. So for this type of thing, you know, if you happen to have double-sided paper, that could be something that's, you know, helpful. But I wanted the centers of these flowers to be metallic for a reason, and that's because I wanted to keep the palette of the colors pretty simple with just that blue and white and then little hints of yellow. So here, finish off that little edge, roll that over. And I'm going to open this one and show you. This one's quite different from those other two. And to be completely honest, I'm thinking this is one that needs to be rolled a little bit differently. So, okay, so let me show you this. That's the third one. I did not anticipate that to look like so. However, I'm thinking that's a party flower right there. That you don't have to roll them so tightly either. Okay? It's really up to you. So let's roll this one and then I'm going to show you what I mean. And the other thing is you can use these as borders or edges to a card that you might be making. So it does not have to be the center of a flower. So if you just gently hold it in your hands and it separates just slightly, it'll give you a looser fit. But next I'm going to show you the roses. I just did that kind of loose there at the end, just to see if it'll uncoil a little bit. And then separate the centers again. Just using my thumb there to kind of pull those away in all different directions. But I'm still getting party flower. That's what I'm calling it. So there's that. Now I'm going to just show you the rose because it does cut out a rose, and this is what that looks like. And for the little rolled rose, however you say that, in this case, it doesn't really matter which portion, you know, I focus on there because it is double-sided paper, and the difference here is just the texture on one side versus the other. This is the Tonic Studios paper. So I just picked the outer edge there, put my tool on it, and then I'm going to roll it toward me in this case. But again, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Just keep rolling that. I like to kind of coax the paper toward the tip of that tool. Then I'm going to slide it off, and this is going to have a little portion that's round. That's where you want to focus your adhesive. Just put a little drop there. And then I'm going to allow the rest of it to kind of sit on that adhesive, and I'll let go of it gently, and it's going to uncoil little by little. But at the end, I like to kind of pinch the edges a little bit, and there's that little rose. It's very delicate and very pretty. Hopefully you guys can see that. So that's one option. I have it in white. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Then we'll do the large flowers on here because I want to start placing them on this box with the largest flowers first. I'm just rolling, applying my adhesive here. And then placing that rolled paper right on top of that little base. And depending on how tightly you wind this, you can get a really tiny rose or a more open one. It really depends. But as you can tell, these are about, goodness, a quarter of an inch or half an inch, depending on how tightly you wind those. Now, there are these larger flowers. These are the ones that I cut out using the specialty card. I am going to layer 3 of them at one time. And, okay. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I had this on no disturb. Okay. I'm going to take a little foam pad here just to show you, if you want to, you can shape these. You don't have to, but it is a lot of fun to do that. You can use a shaping tool and kind of just curve the little petals, whether it be away from you or toward you. It doesn't matter which way you do it, so long as you like the end result. And you can apply pressure in the center. So I'm going to group, as I said, 3 of these together, like so. And I'm going to have a, as I mentioned earlier in this video, a flower series where I'll concentrate more on sharing with you different ways to shape and color and just create different styles of flowers. So that'll be a little more comprehensive, of course, but this is a lot of fun to do. You just want to overlap your little petals so that you get a nice full flower. And with one of the dies, you can cut out a little center. It almost looks like a little sun. I'm going to flip that over and create a little bit of a dome with it with my tool. And then I'm going to adhere that to the center of this flower. So that's just one option. Like so. If you want to, of course, you can use one of those little centers in gold right on top of that. I'm just going to use hot glue, of course, to make this quicker. Because there's no wrong way to decorate the centers, but there's one option, and I really love the color of that little bit of yellow peeking out of the background, the gold in the middle, and then that beautiful white paper. So I'm just going to place mine right here. I'm going to apply some hot glue. This is going to be my center flower here. And of course, I'm going to fluff these up and everything. But there's one. I'm going to make 2 more of those large ones. And of course, I made a bunch of flowers, but that's not to say that I'm going to even need them. I just figured I'd rather be prepared with several layers, and that way I can create really fluffy, full flowers, which is my preference. But again, you make them however you like and in the size that you like. Okay, there's that. And for this part, it doesn't have to be too complicated. Okay, so I'm overlapping again, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the center. However, let's see here. Here we go. Here's 2 that I had adhered together. So I took 2 of those little centers I just showed you, Those are actually already put together, so I'm going to put that in the center here. It's going to add a tiny bit more volume to that. And if you want to, you can place foam adhesive in between those layers. It'll give you a different look. And I'm going to use the same little center here. I'm just going to fluff this up. And of course I'm going to have glue strings, but I'm going to go ahead and place that there. Open that up a bit. Okay. And I'm going to create kind of like a little arch here with these three. All right, so the third one's going to be in the same manner, and that's going to really fill up quite a bit of this. One more of those. And when you use specialty card, if it has that beautiful shiny finish, you don't really have to do much to it. But if you want to, by all means, if you want to spend a little more time on this type of project, you can get out your embellishment mousse or your inks and then go to town, you know, decorating each petal, doing the centers of your flowers if you want to, or even just the edges. It depends on the look you're going for. So I'm excited to see how many different types of bouquets come about. I'm hoping that if someone can leave me a comment and let me know, my stream is kind of disconnecting on my end, I noticed, and I don't know if it's the video. So if someone can just quickly comment and let me know, I'd really appreciate it, because I can't tell if this is still streaming, honestly. Not 100% sure. But it does tell me that there are 9 people here. So strange. Okay. I'm going to add one of these right here to the center. And this was one of those party centers is what I called it. A little bit more crazy. I don't see any comments. I hope this is still streaming. All right, I'm going to add this one to this other end here. I've got 3. And then now I'm going to, let's see here, take a look at, I've got these glitter ones. Do I want glitter? Glitter and the darker pink. Might do that. I just want to see what this is going to look like. Even though I had said yellow, so maybe I'll just do the yellow. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the yellow. Oh, I'm undecided. Let's see here. I'm going to stick with the yellow. I think I'm going to do some medium-sized yellow flowers first and then decide on the pink if I want to add it at the end. So I'm going to set these aside momentarily. Even though it's such a beautiful color, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so I'm going to use these smaller little petals here. They happen to be a little bit more pointy. That's just one of the options, of course. This one. Have to make sure I'm looking at the right one here. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure here in the center. I'm not going to do a whole lot more to that. And I'm going to overlap these. Oops, I see a comment. Okay, you're still streaming and the flowers look beautiful. Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Yes, as far as the bouquet, you know, it's I promise you it's big enough to make an impact. It isn't huge. I wouldn't call it huge. But I promise you that whoever receives it will absolutely love it. Because honestly, I mean, handmade gifts I think are just fabulous to begin with. But the other thing is that you can insert other things in here aside from the flowers. Now, if I was giving this to someone who's young, who maybe had, I don't know, a hospital stay because they broke a leg or whatever, God forbid, right? But if that were the case, I would poke little holes into this portion, okay? And let's just pretend that, let me try to open it, right? And I think, yeah, the magnet came apart. So see what happened there? Just to let you know, when you place your little magnet here, okay, because I like to share what truly happens when you're crafting. When you place your little magnet there, go ahead and cut a smaller hexagon and adhere it on top to cover this so that doesn't happen, so that it doesn't, you know, unglue or whatever. I can't think of the word. Anyway, here's what I wanted to say. Say you're giving this to someone really young. You can poke little holes on this dome portion. Just plan it ahead of time, of course, before you would, you know, stick it all together. And then equally, just make little holes here. Now you can just use your paper piercer. It doesn't have to be, you know, scientific or anything. And then take little lollipops and stick them on there. That way, in between the flowers, you have little candies that the recipient can have too, and then they can just pull them out, you know. So how you use these is you know, definitely up to you, but there's no limit, I should say, to, you know, the different ways that you can use it, and why not just have some fun with it. This is a more, I would say, grown up version, but even still, it really depends on, you know, who's receiving it, what their taste is, and all that good stuff. Now I have these other ones, and I'm just looking at the sizes here because I do like to keep the sizes similar if I can. But because I kind of cut these out, you know, just randomly cut out a whole bunch, then of course I can do graduated sizes. I don't have to stick with only one size per flower. So here I'm using the same style of the petals. However, because I only have 2 of these, then I can move on with a smaller size in the middle. Why not? And again, I do like them really nice and fluffy. I normally take my time to make sure that they're all equally centered and all that good stuff. But we're not going for perfection today. We're just going for having fun. And then I can use a center here. I've got some more off to the side. And let's see here. I happen to have, I forgot, I have this pearlescent pink that I had cut out. So I am going to take advantage of that to introduce a little bit of color here. This is Blushing Pink from Tonic Studios. And I did want to add a little bit of shine to these flowers. So that's what this is going to look like. Oops, slid a tiny bit. So pardon the glue. This is, I saw a tiny bit of that comment, so again, I apologize. All right, so that one's going there. Okay, I think I need it on the other side as well, just to make it, you know, visually kind of even here, right? Do a little pink center on that. Put a little bit of color there. Oh, come on, puppy. My right hand is weak. So if you ever see me struggling as I'm holding something with this hand, I have a very difficult time closing it. And that's why I drop things. I don't intend to be clumsy. I just lost strength in the hand after a couple surgeries. Oh, and it looks like this one wanted to come away. Okay, it's a good thing I just saw that. The little center there. I don't know why that happened, but that's another thing. Like, you know, always wait at least 24 hours for all your glue to do its thing before you give your 3D crafts away. After making them for so many years, let me tell you, it's always a good idea to let them kind of rest and then revisit them and see if you left a little glue string behind, or, you know, anything that you might not be too proud of. You can always fix it before you hand it off. All right, so here I have another type of petal, and I'm sorry, the glue strings are being naughty. Okay. I have another type of petal here. This one has a bit of a notched edge. So that's exactly how that flower should look. Doesn't mean there's something wrong with your die. And I was trying to see if I cut two of them, but it doesn't seem like I did. But that's okay. All right. So I'm going to go with that one next. And again, just applying a little pressure just to create a little bit of movement on the flower, not for any other reason. And there's just a little pressure on the center of the little petals, and that's it. Kind of make them a little bit playful. And I like to work in groups of 3 because it gives just the right amount of lift on the flower. But of course, you do it, you know, you make your bouquet work for you. So now I'm going to go on the opposite side of these. I'm going to find another one in equal size, even though it's different. This one has the little pointy petals. So there are 2 different kinds in that size. I'm going to press it from this direction. Try to create a little bit of a dome center, and then I'm going to press it near that center circle. Give me a little bit of a different look. So here, I'm going to overlap these. And I'm being a little bit more generous with the hot glue on this one because I want that center portion to be kind of pillowy. Maybe you can tell. What I did was I flipped it upside down and used that ball tool to create a dome. And that's going to give me a nice poofy little center as opposed to a concave center on that flower. And I'm just going to put that one on the opposite side of that big one that I had used for the center. And if the little petals move around and all that jazz, no big deal. I'm going to make a couple other medium ones here. And I look like I've been traveling through cobwebs. I'm literally covered in these little glue strings. But all's well that ends well. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. I'm going to do the same thing again. Kind of pop this on top. And as I had said before, if you're not a fan of the hot glue, you can definitely use your foam adhesive for these centers. Nothing wrong with doing that. And I'm gonna kind of, you know, sneak this one in between these 2 smaller ones. So I'm gonna have to pull the petals away and add this one in this little edge. There we go. It's going to start moving things around. So now I'm going to grab this, position it so that I know where the next one's going to go in, and I'm going to do the same thing. This one's going to be a little bit more graduated in size. I'm doing the invisible dance. Okay, pressure, pressure, pressure. Okay, I'm going to just keep this one really simple. Put this one on top, and I think I want another one. Okay, then I'm going to use that pink center here. Just like that. And I think I need more pink. There we go. I'm just going to place that one here. So far, so good. I'm almost complete. And there's also, I think I mentioned, I don't know if I did, to be honest, that there is a die that will cut out the little pieces that you can use to wrap around the center here. Okay. But I think I might go with ribbon on that and then attach the little bow. So that's still kind of undecided there. There's also the little leaves that I forgot to mention. I apologize for that. But I had cut them out of vellum. And I have a whole tray here. That's why I'm kind of reaching over. So I'm just trying to find, they're really delicate, which if I'm going to be completely honest, I wish the leaves were larger on this set. But there is that kind of shorter one with the 3 leaves there. There's this wider one that has this, the skeleton part of it is not there. And then there's this other one that has multiple little rounded leaves. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. I just do wish that the sizes were larger. So I'm going to grab a few of these and kind of start adding them before I finish the rest of the little flowers. I use vellum because it's a delicate and what do you call it? It's a delicate material that doesn't necessarily kind of overpower a project. And if it depends also, of course, on the colors that I'm using on a project, which vellum I'll use. I just so happen to have this in my stash. It was given to me years ago, so I don't know where it even came from. But it is, the reason I'm kind of stuck in thought here is because I'm trying to think of the name of the color. Like ombre, I think that's the word I was looking for. It is kind of like an ombre look. So if you notice on my hand, it goes from kind of yellow to greenish blue to kind of a gray color. So that's what the parchment actually looked like. And if you don't have paper that's, you know, vellum that's like that, you can just as easily color your vellum using inks, just so you know. Okay? Because I know that that's not something that you're going to find everywhere, but I am going to just allow myself to add a little leaf here and there before I move on to the smaller flowers, because I think leaves are just as important as flowers in a project if you are using flowers. That's just my personal opinion. I happen to love using leaves. I'm just going to tuck them here and there, and they're not going to be the center of attention on this project, again, because of the soft colors, but you could just as easily use any kind of mousse to color the papers that you're using. For instance, if you're just using watercolor card or even vellum, can definitely use your embellishment mousse on it. And if you're going for, you know, full-on mixed media look, you can mix the product together. And what I mean by that is you can use your embellishment mousse and then throw some heat embossing on top of it. That's something that I really like to do. Okay, so if you see, it starts kind of peeking out here and there, but it doesn't create a lot of, you know, it's not super shiny or anything like that. I'm just gonna add them here and there. Going to go now over here. And I'm still trying to balance things out in case you're wondering why I'm twirling this. I try to do the same thing on opposite sides if I can, just to keep it looking, you know, the same throughout. Now here's one of those little rolled roses, and I'm sorry, I'm Hispanic, so I want to say rolled roses because R's in English are not our thing. So I'm just going to pop this in the center here. Just because I think it looks cute. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, only instead of, well, actually, I can pop it in the center of this one, or just have it individually there. I think I'm just going to have it fly solo on this side. Introducing that pink, but just in small quantities. Then the other rolled roses. Let's see, where are my other babies? I know I made some. Here's a little yellow one. Here's that itty bitty white one. And I'm going to take a quick little moment here to try to get rid of some of the strings that you guys can't see, but have me completely tied up. I get ticklish. Oh goodness. All right. I have some other ones here. Guys, I cut out so many flowers. I have a whole tray. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta dump the whole thing out so you can see what you're doing. All right, definitely not part of this project. Got a few things going on here. Okay. Here's a little white one. I was kind of looking for that. Those little tiny rolled flowers. Now, I am going to take advantage of the glimmer pen from Tonic Studios to give some of these a little touch of shine here and there. I'm gonna add this one over here, and the little yellow one is gonna be kind of like a little trio going on over here, just on that little edge there. And then I'm going to do a yellow one next to this white one over here. And let's see here. That one didn't make the cut. Got all these little centers that I can still use. Got a little bee, but it's too dark. That was from a different project, and I thought that I might add a bee. Yep, here it is. That I had cut out in watercolor card, and of course this is from the Buzzy Bag set. So I kind of reserved one of these, but I don't know what happened to the rest of his little body. Now these I had shaped differently and I got to thinking that I would use them, but I'm going to omit that because of the fact that the center of that paper was too dark. So even though I love the shape, it's going to be going on a different project. And I'm evaluating here which other ones I'm going to use because I'm thinking some singular flowers is going to look really cute too. Because then I can add little drops here and there to them. So these are going to be my little fillers here and there. Okay. And it's a lot of white initially, but as I just mentioned, you can add your little drops. You can, you know, just keep going with it. There's these other little shapes that I didn't even mention. I forgot, guys. I forgot. And they are the ones, bear with me one second. I just want to take a look at the die set to make sure that I'm not misleading you guys. Yes, there's these shapes here. And these make other styles of flowers, and I happen to have one here. So I don't know why I didn't cut that again. Maybe it's just in the pile. Yep, I found them. So I'm going to try to grab those because I think they should be part of this little community of flowers. Let's see here. Okay, happen to like that shape a lot. Okay, I think, let's see here. I'm going to try to add a couple of these at least. Oops, wrong end. Just do those, nothing too crazy. And maybe one with a smaller center because these are tiny. And again, I'm captivated by the glue strings. Okay, so I'm gonna stagger these. Come on, little guy. There we go. And add a little center to that. It's a little bit smaller. And I guess I'm doing a white one. They're flying. They're flying. Okay, a little white one. And then to this, I can add a center in yellow. Why not? And then I can overlap that as well. Now again, I'm using the hot glue just for the sake of speed, but in all honesty, if I were not doing a live video, I would just continue on with my Nuvo adhesive because it's a lot more user-friendly. All right, so let's see where this little guy can go in. I think maybe down here. And if they overlap, that's okay. And then one more and I'm done with this bouquet. I'll just end up putting a little ribbon on the edges. And I can also tuck in a little bit of this little gold, I think. Let's see here. Oopsie, my little guy fell over. Okay, let's do a little bit of this. It's hard to stop, just so you know. Because this is fun for me. I'm just going to add that little party center, as I had called it. And on this side. That way I don't let those go to waste. They're too cute. Okay, there's that. And off camera, I'll keep adding all the little leaves and all that good stuff. I'm going to grab a little ribbon to put around this, however. And I do appreciate those of you who are still here, because I know that it's a labor of love. And I kind of like this right here. It's just a random ribbon that I happen to have that has this kind of cotton finish to it. Nothing spectacular, but I just happen to like the way that that looks. And I'm going to cut off a piece here, because I did cut it out of paper using the die included. And of course I would cut it too small. Measure twice, cut once. Okay, let's do that instead. All right. And I'm going to adhere this all the way around. Hold that nice and taut. Okay, on this part it'll overlap a little bit, and that's okay. Still a nice clean finish. And of course I can, you know, kind of hide that little fold there, or simply cut it off with my scissors. Either way, it's going to be fine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use the tip of these. Yes, I can. Okay, good to go. And then here I can pop that cute little bow in the center. And I was thinking of rolling this with something else, because I just love texture. So thinking of adding a little bit of twine to this and just roll it all the way around, because I think that's going to be cute and fun. And of course you can do it in any kind of ribbon or any colored twine that you might have. Or if you just want to use paper, then of course you can do that. Okay, it's going to be nice. And I'm just going to cross that in the back here so I can add a little bit of adhesive. And then cut away the excess. Cut that away and cut this away. And then I'm going to just pop this on here. No, I didn't cut the tags that go with this, but I think there are a lot of really cute samples already made. I can come back and do a separate video for that, showing the tag. And I'm just kind of try to, you know, I put a big glob of glue on there. I'm just going to tuck that little piece of twine behind the bow there. The little tricks that you don't normally see. All right, so that's my little bow. I just put the twine on it just for that little pop of yellow, because I have yellow up here. But I think this was an easy project. Of course, you know, there's all the little things that you deal with when you're doing hot glue. But the other thing that I was going to mention is here, I popped the little flower here on this edge, and I wanted you to know this isn't going to open now. Excuse me, I have a dry throat. Bear with me. I'm going to take a sip of my tea. It's not going to open all the way up as if it would, or as it would if that little flower were not there. So you may want to open and close this as you're adding the little flowers, just to see, you know, where you want to take it. And as I mentioned before, what I'll do is I'll add my little magnet here again, and then I'm just going to use my hexagon dies and cut a little piece to cover it. Hello, good evening. I just saw a message there, and again, I apologize for anyone who just got here that I cannot see the chat except when I look up. I'm using my phone to film right now, so YouTube won't let me see my message or my chat. So I'm very, very sorry that it seems like a half approach to a video. I do apologize for that. But I did want to come along and share this project with you. I didn't end up using the little stamens, but I have plenty of leftover flowers. So I think what I'm going to do is create a little card to go along with this, just to show you guys on Facebook and on Instagram what an adorable little set this is and how far you can take it. So I'll just post those pictures, of course, and I'm still pulling the threads of glue, but this has been so much fun. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed any part of this. Share it with your friends if you would like to. You can also, to support my channel, if you're interested, you can click on any one of the links that I have in the description bar of my video. It's going to just take you to any number of the stores that have the products that you've seen here today. Mainly, of course, Tonic Studios. But if you have any questions, I always say this in every video, feel free to contact me at paintsandglitter@gmail.com. I see Victoria. Oh, hi, Vicky. Thank you. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Maria. It was a lot of fun to make this. The papers, again, just to recap, because I don't want you guys to forget. The papers that I used were buttermilk yellow. That's that gorgeous, vibrant, happy yellow that you see there. Then the white, which this video is never going to do it justice because this paper is so gorgeous, is Ice Rink. And it has a very stunning texture. What I'll try to do is take a good picture of it and share it with you guys in the group, so that way you guys get to see, you know, a little bit more of how that looks, and also the little leaves. So what I'll do next, and I'll do this, of course, as I said before, I'm going to do it off camera so that way I'm not here all day, is I'm going to take my trusted little glimmer pen. I know it's here. Can't see it at the moment. I know that I own one. And normally I can find my things, but when I go on a live video, I promise you guys, things just jump away. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'll take this one, the glitter gloss pen. This just has a little bit of a shimmer, and then I'll go through and just touch up the little leaves and that sort of thing. I'll also make use of maybe some sparkle spray on a few flowers, and I'm just throwing that out there. You know, you can do dream drops, you can do the crystal drops. You know, you guys know about all these things already, but it's just a, you know, a quick reminder that you don't have to make any two projects the same way. What's important is that you have fun with it, and of course that you share the love that you have for your, you know, friends and family, or even a complete stranger. You can just brighten someone's day by leaving a bouquet on a desk somewhere. You know, think of the people that you frequent, whether it be your hairdresser or your dentist, anyone like that, and just show up and have one for the secretary who always takes your, you know, your information when you walk in. Why not brighten someone's day like that? And then of course you can fill it with candies if you'd like to, or, you know, just leave a little note in there. I hope your day is bright and happy, you know, things like that. There are multiple uses for these things. And don't forget, and I think Karen was the one who mentioned this in the live video where this was recently presented, that hospitals will not allow you to take real flowers into the patient. So if you do know someone who's maybe, you know, in that situation, you can definitely bring paper flowers. Why not? Because then they don't have to, you know, get rid of it, and they won't get in trouble, right? So yeah, I appreciate your guys taking the time to be here with me today. This is always a joy. It's so very pleasant. Again, I apologize about the whole chat situation, but I will have a video tomorrow that's going to be a quick and easy cards. There's also a brand new kit coming up, and that's going to be live on Saturday, I believe, which is the 20th. So yeah, in 2 days, there's going to be a new kit. Oh my goodness. And you're not going to want to miss that. I promise you, you're not going to want to miss it. So I thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. If it were not for you, I would not be able to make these videos. It's a blessing to me. And as I always say, I hope that you also can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching. Ciao, ciao. I'm going to do the finger thing.